Hi, I'm Tara, and in this video, I'll reveal all the secrets, tips, and tricks you need to know to create this AI automated Instagram Reel creator. Within just 1 year, we've seen OpenAI's Sora, the Chinese AI platform Kling, Leonardo AI, which was recently acquired by Canva, and Runway, all showing unimaginable advancements in AI video generation. AI music generators have become accessible to all, AI voice models are now easy to listen to and understand, and AI text models are now capable of reasoning as well as producing incredibly engaging text. Mastering the creation of this AI automated video creator will not only put you at the forefront of current AI video trends, but it will also develop AI literacy and automation skills. In this video, you'll learn everything you need to know to build this AI video creator, starting with the tools needed and their associated costs. I'll include my experience with 2 AI music generators, and I'll demonstrate step by step how to create this AI automated video generator. As a bonus, I'll provide all the templates and prompts so you can get started yourself, and you'll be lacking nothing. But before I go further, just a bit about me. I'm the founder of AI Way, an AI automation agency specializing in developing time-saving AI automation solutions for small to medium-sized businesses. We approach these innovative solutions as a science to achieve specific repeatable results, and an art form to cater to unique business pain points and circumstances. So now you know a bit about me, let's take a look behind the hood of this video generator. So here we are in our database. This is Airtable. It's not only a database, but it's also the front end for our build. So to create a new video, we just add video down here and we will select a file. So this is drawing from the audio table that I've got there. So select whichever music file you want. You can also just play it and find out if that's what you want. And then simply select create 9 scenes. Now you'll get a window pop up that just tells you that that was accepted. That's good. You can X out of that. And now what's happening is if we go over to make.com, then we will see our automation actually running. And for those of you who don't know, make.com is like the glue for our automation. It connects all the different software we need to create the videos. So this will actually be running in the background. If we look over here on the right hand side, you can see the scenario is running. So it's just started. We can click back here and there you go. You see it just flowing its way up through this top path. So that first button, 9 scenes, is triggering up this top path, generate scene videos. This iterates 9 videos or 9 scenes. So it's going to go through this 9 times. So what's in this part then? Well, we've got our variable assistant. So this is creating the variables for our video. In this case, we've got different wave and beach images. So we've got wave size, weather conditions, lighting conditions, coastal types like island, Australian coastline, or a rocky headland. So it's totally creative. You can choose whatever variables you want. There's so much opportunity. I've done ones with different cities, different types of landscapes. And so you just define like variables that you want within your theme. And then here is the image prompt generator. So you get those variables and then you place them within this image prompt generator. We've got 9 image prompts that are passed over to Leonardo AI where an image will be generated. So we can actually go over to Leonardo AI and see the progress. While that's loading, I will, there we go. Isn't that beautiful? This is the MP4 because that's the next step is that it takes the image. Wow. I don't want to spoil this because we'll see the final video, but isn't that awesome? I love it. Okay, we'll see one more. Okay, there we go. I don't want to spoil it, but you have seen now we get both the image, as you can see here. This isn't an MP4, this is just an image. And then it creates the motion from that image in this module here. I'll show you how to set that up. You'll get everything you need to know to do this. Before this is actually generated in Leonardo AI, because that takes a little while, it passes on to Airtable saying, hey, we're creating a row here. Get ready for our video file, which will be passed to Airtable by Leonardo AI. After this iterates 9 times, it allows the automation to continue through this gray barrier where we just let Oh, there we go. Okay, I just got a text from Slack saying that it's ready to have a look at. So now we're back in Airtable and we can see that we also have down the bottom here 9 videos created. Let's open this up and have a look at each of the videos. So we've got that first one we already saw, which is absolutely spectacular. Let's have a look at this last one. Nice. It's a close up. And so that I don't spoil it, I won't go through any more of them. But if we head back to our interface, we've got this option to post to Instagram. So we can click this. We'll get this window that comes up saying that the webhook has been accepted. I'll explain what a webhook is later. And then we can see here we've got the automation just ran. It's posting to Instagram. It happened really quickly. Before we have a look at my Instagram, I will zoom in and show what's actually happened here. So the second button will make this workflow go down the generate final videos pathway. And here we are getting the records from our Airtable that we just saw. So we have them available for the workflow. Then we have this iterator, which is extracting the exact variables that we want in this final video. Then we've got some extra modules just to format it for this JSON to video module. And in here, we just get everything we need to create the video. We can change the volume. So if you want it very low or even just low, and then you can add a voice or a narrator. So there's a lot of potential in this. It's very easy to just change it up for your own use case. We put it to sleep for a minute. It just helps the workflow check to see that the movie has been created. Then you can see we've got the video URL here. You can copy and actually just look at that. Isn't that cool? All right. And then that just went straight to Instagram. So actually I've extracted the file and just updated the Airtable with these modules here and updated my database. So here you can see I've got down here post complete. So there you go. Let's actually build this thing. So what platforms will you need and what are the costs? Well, let's discuss the platforms, pricing, and relevant features for this build. I'll start with Make.com and Airtable, then Leonardo AI and JSON to video, and finally, I'll discuss the music AI generators SoundDraw and Udio, as well as the OpenAI API key. For those who don't know, Make.com is an automation platform that allows users to connect apps and automate workflows without coding. It enables complex integrations through a simple visual interface, enhancing productivity and efficiency. I love Make.com and I switched over to using this platform for most automations because it is cost-effective, powerful, and intuitive to use. For beginners, there's a free plan with no time limit, and this tier will get you incredibly far. I use the Pro plan at $16 a month, which is more than enough to cover everything I build. But my suggestion is to use whichever plan you're on, and if you encounter a hiccup like file size limits, you have the option of creating a workaround, which I'll show you how to do that. Or you can just upgrade to the core plan if you're on the free, which will unlock a lot of AI automations for you. Airtable is commonly known to be like Excel spreadsheets, but on steroids, and I totally agree. It combines tables, automations, and integrations for easy data management. And the free plan is also sufficient for most needs and doesn't have a time limit. So in our case, the relevant features are the attachment space, which is 1 gigabyte per base on the free tier, 100 automation runs, 1,000 API calls, and 1,000 records per base. So the free tier is more than enough to get started. The field of image and motion generators is growing fast, with many companies innovating rapidly. These AI tools are more expensive to run compared to text generation, but prices are likely to come down due to competition. So for this build, I used Leonardo AI API to generate the image and motion. It produces some of the best images, has the motion feature, and is simple to use. It has a price calculator so you can keep track of how much you're spending. The API costs $9 per month for 3,500 credits, which is enough to create at least 6 short videos per month. JSON to Video is a video editing API that allows users to automate video creation and editing at scale. Its main features include support for multiple video, image, and audio formats, automatic voiceover from text, and the ability to add watermarks, text overlays, animations, and soundtracks to videos. The free trial will get you familiar with the platform and is more than enough to create this build. It will give you access to all the JSON to video API features, up to 600 seconds of video rendering, and up to 1 minute per video. Beyond that, you can opt for a prepaid plan or a monthly subscription. So here is a brief summary of the research I did on Udio and SoundDraw to figure out what is the best deal for the best AI music licensing options. So Udio provides 100 free credits monthly plus 10 credits per day. So this means you can slowly build up an audio library over just a few weeks. Here is my personal interpretation of the terms of conditions, and that is that you can use the free music that you generate on Udio on social media and commercially. However, there's two conditions. One is that you properly indicate that the content was generated using Udio, and the content must not contain copyrighted material. And so if those terms are too ambiguous for comfort, there is another option in SoundDraw. Their licensing, to me, is clearer and is more of an integral part of their offer. So my interpretation, again, is that you can create free music, though it can't be used commercially. However, if you get the creator plan, you get access to infinite background music commercially. This includes music that's both you and other users of the platform created. And I've got links to both platforms in the description. I use ChatGPT for Omni to generate the prompts for the images, and you can use other language models if you prefer, but to keep in line with how I've done things, you would access the OpenAI API key. So in terms of cost, it'll be a fraction of a cent per run. So I'd put $5 on your OpenAI API, and that will last thousands of video generations. So in the description below, you'll find all the resources you need, the Airtable base, make.com scenario, the prompts for the OpenAI assistants, and every link to the platforms that you need. A few of these are affiliate links. None are sponsored. They're just the platforms that I used and find valuable. So if you guys click on the Airtable base that I've provided, you just go up to copy base and select that. Now that's important because you can't actually do anything in this template. It's read only. But if you select copy base, you'll have your own editable base. First, you'll need to sign up if you haven't signed up to Airtable yet. I've got the affiliate links down there somewhere. So once you've done all that, select the workspace you want to use and add the base. So here it is. I'll show you around a little bit. So our first table is video trigger, and each row in video trigger represents a video, essentially, that you've decided that you want. So I'll get into that deeper soon. But the other thing to note is that we've got 3 views here on the side, and that's really just to help us sort out what's going on. We can change views. Next, we've got MP3 audio. That's our audio database. And here we've got 2 views. And now you'll notice there's something different about the views. We've got them filtered by these 2 tabs. So we hide a few of the tabs because we don't actually need to look at them. In this view, same thing. So I guess the main takeaway for this is that the tabs up here, both hidden fields and filter, are what defines our views. And it can be really helpful when you add views with automation, as we have done here, and I'll show you that in a moment. And the third one is motion scenes. So this is where we collect all the scenes from Leonardo AI. So one record here is 1 video, and 9 videos are basically a button's worth of triggers. So yeah, 1 record is a 5-second Leonardo video. And I'll choose a random one here to have a look at just to demonstrate. That looks so real. I'm going to enlarge that. Wow. So we can have as many tables and different views within a table as we like, but they need to make sense to the overall purpose of the base. So each table is here for a reason. It's somehow linked to the video that is triggered. And so it's our job to understand exactly how it's linked so we can set this base up effectively. So how are they linked? Well, if we think about this with some logic, for each video trigger or each video, we need 1 audio file, because the audio file is just 1 file. So that's the link there. And then for each video trigger or video, we have 9 motion scenes. So we've got multiple motion scenes here. And just by the way, I did label this video. It would be better to be called scenes here. I'm not going to change it just because it might mess up other things that I've got going on, but just to note, it's good to keep things defined in the same way in the whole build. But yeah, that's just learning for me. Yeah, so that's how they're linked. So obviously multiple scenes per video trigger, but only one video trigger per motion scene. And here obviously we've got one audio file per video, but we can have multiple videos per audio file because we can reuse them. If we really like Symphony of Waves, we can use that for every video, and this would just keep on building up and up. So then if I create a new table from scratch, we'll notice it doesn't actually link these tables together. They're totally independent. So I need to figure out how to actually link a record from, for example, motion scenes, or better yet, video trigger, to this table. So let's find out how to do that. So this can be done using linked fields. An example of a linked field is this music file here. It's got this kind of 3 lines with an arrow. That means it's a linked field. And that creates connections between the table. It's like a bridge. It draws the records. If I create a new one, I'll show you as an example. Here, we'll add that. You can see all the information for every record in the MP3 audio. And if we look up here, how do we know it's the MP3 audio? Well, it says here, link to MP3 audio. And we haven't linked to multiple records because we only want one audio, because it doesn't make sense to have multiple. All right. So while the music file kind of gives us the information, we can't actually do anything because there's so much information. This links the entire record, all of that information, just with reference to the name. That's the primary field. This one here is the primary field, the first column. But yeah, we get all the information from a linked field. So we need to find specific information. How do we do that? Well, we do it with a lookup field. And this here is an example of a lookup field. This is a lookup field for the motion scenes linked field. So a lookup field is used to draw specific data, like the audio URL here, into the video triggers table. Because before the lookup field, if we didn't have that, while we would be able to reference the record, we wouldn't actually be able to do anything. So now we can actually say, hey, I want that specific information from that record, and we draw it from here. And this is how we do it. You've got the lookup field. Music file is the source we're looking for in this particular one, and the particular field we want from that table is the Google audio URL. Why do we want that? Well, our JSON to video module in Make asks for it so that we can create a video with some audio, and it needs a URL to do that. So if you don't know, linked fields connect records between tables, and lookup fields display data from linked records, updating automatically. So I've actually done all the heavy lifting for you in relation to the linked fields and lookup fields. So you don't really need to know that stuff for this particular build. But if you want to go on to build other things, that is very important to know. It really helps out. And like I said, it took me a long time to really get it right. So hopefully that's helped you guys out a bit. The last aspect of the Airtable build I'll cover are the webhooks and automations, which I'll discuss in detail next. The topic of webhooks causes us to zoom out for a bit. We know that Airtable is where our workflow starts, but it leaves Airtable. How does our workflow break out of Airtable like that and into Make? And along the same lines of reasoning, how does Make.com lead our request to Leonardo AI? Webhooks and API calls. If you're interested in the AI automation game, there's no escaping webhooks and AI API calls. The terminology and categories that describe these actions can be obscure, so I've simplified it here. So things you need to know. 1, all webhooks are API calls, but not all API calls are webhooks. Webhooks are initiated by the sender when an event occurs, and they send data to a pre-configured URL. We have 3 webhook automations to pay attention to in our build, and since each webhook involves 2 platforms, we have to know how each webhook is sent and received in each platform. So 2 webhooks are sent from an Airtable formula, and they run after you trigger them by clicking a button. They're essentially saying to Make, hey, start this process. Magic happens though when we can add onto the webhook URL something called a query. Because I identify as a no-coder, this term is a bit intimidating, but now you can create queries by just having a discussion with Claude. I have a prompt engineering video highlighting Claude's capability, so I'll link that to this video. But essentially, a question mark starts a query and then it passes information through parameters. I'll show you what I mean. So from our Airtable base, we can go up to our 2 buttons and double click on the heading, and we can see this formula. We've got the webhook URL here, which ends at the query question mark, and then we've got 2 query parameters. The first one is that we're sending over the record ID, and the second one is we're labeling an action, which is for the first button, generating scene videos, and for the second button is generate final video. And I'll show you where that becomes important in Make. It's very important to get this string of words exactly right with the caps lock as well, because if you say videos instead of video, or if you have a small f, so a little f instead of a big one, it won't work. So it's important to get this entire string right. Okay, so how do you get the webhook? Well, let's go to Make. We say create a new scenario. There's the JSON Make file in the description. So import blueprint, choose file, and select it. Here is the first module. That's our trigger module. It's watching for responses from Airtable. So we're going to add a new one, and we'll call this one AI Wave Short Vid Demo. Save, and here we have our webhook. We can copy that, click OK. Now we just go back over to our buttons, and we will double click on that and just paste it in exactly between the quotation marks and the question mark. Yep. And then we go to the next one and paste the same webhook into this one. So remember, the only difference between these 2 webhook formulas is the action. So we'll test this, and first off, we will unlink both of these. Let's trigger the webhook. So we need it to be running before we can trigger it. And this doesn't matter. It's basically just saying that you're not allowed to have this as a last module in your Make scenario because it wouldn't make sense, but this is just testing. So we can run it anyway. And then we go over here and we can trigger the video. Now this window will turn up. It's going to turn up each time we test the webhook. So it's worked. It's got the record ID and action that's been passed on to this webhook, and then it's filtered down this path. So here you can see we've run generate scene videos, action, generate scene videos. I wanted to show you this because I need to highlight the filters to you. You can see here I've got this label on this pathway, generate scene videos. It's very specific. So if the action that comes in is exactly equal to this string here, then it will go up to the first path. That's why we need this text operator to be exact. And same for this one down here. We've got generate final video. If it's anything else, it'll catch on the webhook and then not actually go anywhere. So then after that, the other thing I needed to show you was the iterator. So we've got 9 items here in the iterator. That means that 9 videos will come through from Leonardo AI. We can delete them by just clicking out of them, or we can add another one by adding, so click in the box and then go over to this general function section and go execution ID. And that's just going to execute another iteration. So we'll put both of them back. Let's go add another one. So we've got 9. And so Leonardo AI creates 5-second videos. So 9 of them mean that's 45 seconds. I tend to cut them down to 2 or 3 seconds. So it's a faster moving pace for a reel. But I wanted to show you, so we've got this iterator that iterates through this part of the path 9 times. And we have full control over that just through this iterator here. So let's find out how we generate the videos and get them back into Airtable where we can check them out. To do this, we'll need an OpenAI API key, our Leonardo AI API key, and our Airtable connection to May. So here we are on the OpenAI homepage. You go up to products and we're going to drop down to the API login. And for me, it's going to go straight in, but you need to create an account, then go to billing. I'm not sure if they still have it, but they did have a $5 credit that was automatically put onto your account when you created one. I'll just put a couple dollars on. $5 with this automation will take you thousands of runs. Once you've done that, go and get your API key. So to get your API key, go down to API keys, create new secret key, name what your API key is going to be used for. So that's going to be AI Wave Short Vid Demo, and you can leave that onto default project. Create a secret key, copy it, and click done. Now we go back to our make scenario, and for me, this one will already be set up, but we'll add a new one. We'll call it the same name. So this will be our AI Wave Short Vid, and paste the API key here and you can leave organization ID. Save that. We'll need to next create the assistant, and I've got the prompts for the assistants in the description. Now, all you will need to do is open up the prompt. So that's the variable generator assistant. Copy and paste that into an assistant. So we'll go over to create a new one. We've got untitled assistant here. Paste the prompt into that and name it something that you understand the reference to. So iWave short vid demo. And for the model, we're going to go down to for Omni, the latest one, which is the 8th of the 6th, so August the 6th, because that's cheaper, and just click create. Now we want to go and test it out. So we'll go to Playground and go into our assistant, and we're going to select our newest one, which is this one, and ask for some variables. Hi, I'd like some variables, please. Now we need to do this because up the top here, you can see we've got this thread ID. We're going to copy that, and that's going to go into our make module. And here we've got this. Now I can refine this and say never put quotation marks in your reply. Only include the variable. And we can try that again. But yeah, you can play around with the prompts as much as you like. I'll just copy this thread ID and then paste that into our assistant module. So we're going to go up to assistants and we're going to regenerate this. So here it is, our wave short vid demo, and we will paste the thread ID down here. So that's going to make sure that it keeps track of the variables that have been beforehand so that it can randomize it. So then we click OK. And now we're going to go over to our next module, which is the image prompt generator. So let's open up the prompt generator that I've provided. Well, just copy that and paste it into another assistant. So we go back over to dashboard. We will select create an assistant and paste that into the instructions. So here we've got, you're an AI image prompt master. You create prompts that produce 12K ultra-realistic photo-like images. Consider a full-frame camera with excellent dynamic range, image stabilization, fast autofocus, and high ISO performance, yada, yada, yada. And then I've got some specific instructions in here. That's where they're going to insert the variables from our previous module. You can obviously change the types of the themes that you might want to put, famous cities or beautiful landscapes or people. So you can play around with this as much as you can. Like there's a world of opportunities in it. So we're going to go create. And for this one, we don't need the thread ID. You can just start a new chat each time. Actually, we've created it, but we need to name it. So this one's going to be our image short video image generator. And for me, it's going to be demo. So that's all done. If we go back to our make scenario, I'll add the assistant in here. So we're going to refresh this and I'm going to choose my last, so this connection, and select my image generator that I just created. We've got role user, and again, you can change this as much as you like because this is essentially going to be what you want in your videos, but this is how I've set mine up. We can ignore the thread ID because the image is already going to be different because of the variables. So now we're done. We can actually test this. So just run this module only, and we've got light conditions, a stunning, colorful sunrise reflecting on the water in the most realistic and natural manner, and a 1 meter wave. So that's working. And let's copy these variables, and it doesn't have the quotation marks either. So that's great news. We'll copy that, run this module only. We're going to paste the variable, which is the results, into this section just for the test, and press OK, and we're going to get a specific prompt. So if we look back at our actual assistant prompt, we have an instruction here. You must write the prompt in a short paragraph format that does not exceed 70 words. The reason I've got this in here is because it's going to Leonardo AI. So these prompts are specific for Leonardo. And here we've got a detailed prompt. Capture an Arctic coastline at sunrise featuring a 1 meter tall wave, smooth, gliding in crystal clear water. 20 meters from the shoreline, the backdrop showcases the expansive ocean. It's very vivid. And now we're up to Leonardo AI. I mentioned earlier that we have 3 webhooks we need to take care of in this build, and we've already conquered 2 of those. So we're up to the 3rd now. So while we have 1 more webhook to look over, I'm also going to outline a little bit more about what the API calls are within the applications in this iterator and array aggregator. And I've created a diagram to make it simple and easy to understand. So remember, we've got these modules, they're iterating through 9 times. This is going to run 9 times. So once this OpenAI variable generator module is triggered, it calls up our variable assistant. It's asking for the message back and it sends a message back. Once the message is sent back, it can then send that message to the image prompt module. Then when that's received, it calls up the AI prompt assistant. The prompt assistant has a message to send back. That's the prompt. And once the prompt's received within Make, it sends it to our Leonardo image module. So just note here, remember we've got our OpenAI API key. That's giving us permission to speak to our OpenAI account and our assistants. Without that, it's not possible. So nobody else can call the assistants that you have made. That's giving us all the permission we need to enter into OpenAI and get what we want. So we've already set them up in our OpenAI modules. Now we're up to Leonardo AI. And I'll show you what's happening in here, and then we'll go and get our Leonardo AI API key. What's going to happen is it's sending a message saying, please create this image. So we do receive a image back, but we're really waiting for the motion file. Once the image is received, this Leonardo AI motion module is triggered. We get the information about this image and we say, please turn that into a motion image. It takes a while. All we're wanting is for Leonardo to say whether it got the message. So we're just waiting for what's called a 200 response or 200 status. Once that is returned, this module is done with and it sends a create record request to Airtable. So we also have to set up a connection between our Make scenario and Airtable, which I'll show you in a moment. So then the other thing that happens up here is once the time has passed and the motion image is created, it will send this motion file to our Airtable motion scenes. And this is done by creating a webhook, which is defined in an Airtable automation that we'll create now. Okay, so what we're going to do now is not only define the webhook that we need to get Leonardo AI to pass the file to Airtable, but we're also going to get the API key that Make needs to give the message to Leonardo AI to generate the image and create a motion file with that image. So here we are in the Leonardo AI API interface, and this here just has some information about the API, and down here you can see the plan. So this plan would get you at least 6 of the short videos from this build per month. Here you can see that you can actually top up your credit. So down here, you've got the API access here. Don't forget that. That took me a while as well to get my bearings around this dashboard, just because there are the 2 different offers here. So you can actually just create images within this platform. You get a certain amount free, I think per day maybe. I'm currently on the free plan of this one. This is what I wanted to show you. So this is a different offer. It just lets you create images within the Leonardo AI interface. We really want the API access. Now, once you've got that, let's start from the start. So create new API key, and let's reference this. For me, I'm going to say demo for AI Wave short, and I'll put an emoji there. Nice. Now, we are going to also give Leonardo AI a webhook callback URL. So this webhook callback is going to call our Airtable and give it the motion file. So leave that open. You head back over to your Airtable, and we want to go up to automation. Now, this is one that I've already built out. We're going to build this exact same one. I go down here to create another automation. Just create that. We will name it motion file. And down here, we will trigger it when a webhook is received. And then we have the URL right here. Copy that and head back to our Leonardo API. And we just paste that in here. If there is already a webhook in there, delete that. That caused me troubles. I didn't know what was going on. So moral of the story, delete whatever's in there and make sure you put the correct URL in. Once you've done that, that's it. We can go generate, copy this, and you'll never get this API key again. So my suggestion is to put it into a Word document, reference the name, demo for AI Wave short vid, and reference the name of the Airtable. I'd also reference the Make scenario. It would have really helped me out if I'd have done that from the start. So we now have an API key. We've set up the API key to return to this webhook. And now we can go back to our Make scenario and set up our Leonardo AI modules. So click on this, click add, and name this as something that's going to properly reference what you're doing. And in this case, we'll say demo AI wave short vid, and I'll just leave it like that. Put your API key in there, and that is great. So I have this set up. So we're drawing the results from our prompt. Leonardo Keynote XL is a really vivid model, but look at all of these. Some of them you can get access to through that API. Some of them I believe you can't, though you guys could try some of these. It will, yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. We can create an anime one, pixel art, spirit creatures, cute animal characters. It's just so cool. We'll leave that. So we've got a number of images to generate. We'll just do the one. Don't need to put anything in source. I don't want it public because we don't need to make it public. This is really important. You can change it to whatever you want, and you can see here it's between 32 and 1024 for both dimensions. But the key is that whatever you have it in here, whatever the aspect ratio, it has to be the same here in JSON to video. And again, that's something where I had to learn the hard way. So this is 576 and 1024, and this here is 576 width and 1024 height. Okay, so zoom, unzoom. So alchemy, yes. So it uses more credit to put yes in alchemy. You can try saying no and you'll get more for your dollar. That's up to you. You can play with that, experiment with all the different models, etc. Yeah, and down here we've got the negative prompt. So this is the opposite of a prompt. Put in here anything that you don't want. So just click OK to that. And so this one's now set up. We can actually test this now just by clicking run, and the result is just the OpenAI result for the prompt. So I might just say here, a stunning tropical beach scene with stunning sand dune and crisp clear water. Okay, so if we go down to output and generated image or images, we get all this information. We get the ID, which was important for our next module, but essentially we just want to double click on that, copy this, and then just paste it in there. Oh wow, that's it. So we can see here, if we go into image creation, that our image has been created here and it's accessible. Yeah, easy. Next, we will go on to our second Leonardo module, and we are going to choose the same connection that we had last time. So demo AI wave short vid. So we've just connected the same API to this module. And so here we've got this URL. I'm not sure if this will come up in your Leonardo AI module, but this is the URL we need to put here. It just provides the path to get our motion file. This is a post request, headers, contents, type, and value is application/JSON. And then just put this exactly as it is in here. Generated images. So you can copy this, just pause it. We get this from here, go down to generated images ID. That's this one here. Click that. I only put the one in there, but I'm just showing you. This needs to be exactly as it is. Something to note here also is that you see this motion strength 4. If I put 8, that's just going to increase the amount of motion in the motion files, obviously. So I believe that 8 is max. So we could check the Leonardo documentation, but yeah, so you can go from 1 to 8, maybe more, and 1 is like very low amount of motion in the files. And that is it. We click OK, and now we need to head back to our Airtable automation. So we've got our webhook set up, so we can test this trigger, and it's working. So that's all good. Now we want to find the record in our Airtable that we would like to update. And so this is going to be a record in our motion scenes table, and it will be based, so we're finding the record based on a condition, and the condition will be where job ID, because that's the name. If we just go back here in motion scenes, job ID is the name of our primary field. And if we go back to automation, it's actually defined by Leonardo AI. So where job ID is, we click in here. We're going to click on the this settings button, and we've got to select dynamic, because to get your head around this, if we look at this here, it says we choose dynamic because it uses the variables from the previous step of the automation. We're trying to get the value for job ID, and the value is going to be set by our webhook. That's Leonardo AI, like I just mentioned. So we've got when a webhook is received, and this has all the data from Leonardo AI. So we go down here and we select data, and we select object, and it's the object ID, and that's it. So we can test this action. It might not come up with anything because I haven't actually run the webhook yet, but essentially it's working. Now the next thing is we'll need to actually update the record. So I'm going to add update record. Now the table we want to get into, obviously we're updating motion scenes, the record ID, so it's an Airtable. So this time to update the record, we will be going over to this blue add sign. So find records, go down to Airtable record ID, because this is what we want to update. It's an Airtable record. And then we're choosing the field in that record that we want to update. And that's going to be the video one. And lastly, again, we want to draw the information that we update it with a webhook information. And remember, it's an MP4 URL that we're actually going to be looking for. So we go into here, we go down to data because we want the data. We select object and we go down to images. And then within the images, we're looking for the motion MP4 URL. So make sure you get the right one. Select that and we can try running this. It won't work because there's no records to actually draw from at this point. But what we can do now is actually run our automation, and it should run through once and stop here because we haven't set up our Airtable yet. So we just select run once and I just say wait for new data. Then we come back over to our Airtable, go to data, switch it on, go to video trigger. And so here I've got a record that hasn't been triggered yet. So I'll just select 9 scenes. So we get this window pop up, says accepted. That means the webhook has been accepted by Make. And if we head over to our automation, we can see it's running. And we could have a look at our variables. So we've got a wave height, 1 meter, smooth and clear texture, tropical reef break, 10 meters from the shoreline. And then we've got this prompt here. Awesome. So it's done just what I've said. We've got the image has already been created. We can see that should be the MP4 generating. Yeah, this is the image from that one. It's such high quality, like the water, the land in the distance, the clouds, like it really looks like a photograph. That's so cool. All right, so now here's the motion file for that one. Alrighty, so if we head back over to our Airtable, we'll see that we've created these in Leonardo AI. They're not actually updating Airtable yet. We actually need to make a connection to Airtable. So I want to draw your attention back to this image of what's really going on under the hood of our build. So this connection loop is the iterator in our make scenario, and it is in make. Now, when we cross this border, we're going into other apps. So here we've got OpenAI, and we've got Leonardo AI, and here we've got Airtable. And here again, we've got Airtable. So I've added this one to kind of represent the crossing over and the connection from Airtable to Make. And this one here, what we're doing is we're creating a record in Airtable. So we need permission, and so we need to get an OAuth connection. Now here, and I know I've already explained it, but here is where we're adding the motion file. So what's going to happen first is, even though this triggers Leonardo AI before it triggers Airtable, this takes time, at least 1 minute per video, but this is updated immediately. So as soon as this connects, then an Airtable row is added in the motion scenes table. So we have the 9 motion scenes added before the 9 files are added, and they add as they complete. So as each file completes, then that file will then be added to the row that will have already been added. So I just wanted to give you that conceptualization. I think the other thing to note is that connection here. So this is the record and this is the file. You can't have a file without a record, and without a record, you can't put a file anywhere. So these automations are linked together in that way. Now let's connect our make scenario to our Airtable. So just click on this. We're going to add a connection, and we will choose OAuth. And we'll name it AI Wave Short Vid Demo. Save. And this is going to open up another window. And from here, you just need to add the base. So that will give you, that means that you'll be giving permission for these 2 apps to communicate. And this is the one that we were working on. And then just grant access. Brilliant. So now we have our connection, and the base we want, it's not this one. We need to change it to the one that we're actually using. It's whatever you just selected in your authorization. And then we need to go through and actually select the motion scenes that we were using. So that's going to be down here. It will automatically assume that the one that you uploaded from the templates is the table that you will be using. So you have to correct the base and the table and then go back and fill the rest of this in. We're going to run it once so that you have data in here to fill this table in. You may already have that. If you do, don't worry about it. But for me, I'm just going to select run once. I can use existing data in this case. Perfect. Alrighty, so we've got some data in here. So this is referencing the job ID from Leonardo AI. So we go down here, motion C SVD generation job, and we're going to select generation ID. Then we are going to select the scene. So that's record ID 1, and that will be, I believe that's going to be this one here. We leave the rest because all we're doing here is we're actually just creating a row or a record in this Airtable go to motion scenes, is creating these rows here with the job ID. So select OK. Next up, we will be updating a record. So again, we need to create the connection. We'll select the right connection, and we've got to go back down to our base. Then we need to, so we can refresh this, and we will select video trigger, but the one on our Airtable base, not the one that was transferred over. So we select the other video trigger, and let's just refresh that. Awesome. So this is automatically filled in. And the only thing we are updating here is going to be the video scene status. What we're basically doing here is checking that the 9 videos have been created. So we automatically have it on default waiting, but once these have iterated through the 9 and all of the records have been created, not the files, but the records, then we will just put exactly this here in there. If you don't put the exact phrasing in, it won't work. So we're going to go and copy that and come back here and paste that, and that's it. Okay. And finally, it takes about 10 minutes, maybe even less, like say 7 minutes to generate all of the files. So once you run the automation, you can actually just kind of go away, do something else, and then you can actually just get your message, or you could set it up to an email or even a text message from Twilio, whatever you would respond to most. So I won't show you exactly how to do that. It's another account to set up. I'll show you what's here. So I've just done the same thing. I've created my own connection with Slack, just said, hey, your videos are nearly ready, and given it the Airtable link, which you will find here. If I just copy this, so this is the link to my Airtable, this specific view. I can copy that and then paste it in here. This is going to be a new one for me. Paste. Then I can just open it up as soon as I get the message and select OK. And that's the top row done. Okay, so we're ready to test it. So we'll select run once and we'll wait for new data. We'll head over to our Airtable and create a new record. I'm going to select flow. And any moment this button will appear and I can select that. This tells me that the webhook has been accepted, and now we're waiting for our video. So I'm going to go away and be back in about 7 minutes to see if it worked. Okay, so I just got a Slack text message and it indicated that this was ready. So let's go over and have a look at some of the images. And again, I'll just have a look at a couple and leave it at that. Okay, I'm happy with that. I just want to mention here that if you did not like a video, you can just delete it. So for example, I don't really want to delete any, but if you were like, oh, that just doesn't fit, just select the file and delete it. Actually, where you would delete it from is in motion scenes. So just come down here, select delete, and then it just won't be added. So that's good to know. For extra customization, you can actually add as many videos or delete as many videos as you want. So you could theoretically create 9 videos again, and it will add 9 videos. So we're going to do 3 things here. We're going to, 1, get a music file from SoundDraw. Because I've got a creators account, I can just take any audio from there. 2, we're going to drop that into Google Drive and get the shareable link and the file ID. And then 3, we're going to set up the automation so that it runs smoothly and the audio file is drawn into our video just as it should. So this is the SoundDraw homepage. You'll find that in the link below. I'll just go over to my account. But here's some music, and besides creating it, I'm just going to have a quick listen. I'm downloading this as the MP3. So this is my Google Drive. I've got some shareable MP3s here, and I will just bring this one over to my shareable drive. So I will rename it straight away so that I don't lose it, and select OK, and then share that. And now if I copy this link, we're going to look for the file ID. So I open up a new window and grab this file ID. So that's the number in between these 2 forward slashes. I think it's a 33-digit string. Copy that. That's all we need. Now let's head back over to our Airtable. And if you have a look at the MP3 audio table and we go up to this top view, provide MP3 file ID, that's what we're doing here. Paste that in there. So now we've got 2 file IDs that I've prepared for this. So now we're going to create the automation. Just head over to the automation tab up here. We go down and say create an automation, and we're going to say when a record enters a view. Now that's what's going to trigger our automation. If we head back over to our table again, you can see, remember, we've got hidden fields and filter. They're the 2 things that define our views. So here we've hidden Google Audio URL, and here we've got creating URL. That's the purpose of this view. So here we've hidden video trigger and audio length. They don't matter to this particular view. So we will then have a look at filter. So where Google MP3 ID is not empty, then it will enter into this view. So for example, if I try to create a field here, it's going to say it's filtered. And if we go back up here, we've got this row here, though if we go back down here, it's disappeared from here because it has an empty MP3 ID. So that's what will cause a row to drop down to this view, having a Google MP3 ID in there. Now, if I head back to automations, when a record enters a view, you need to define the table, MP3 audio, and the view is creating a URL. So then we say choose record, and we've got a heap of them there. We'll select this first one as the test row. So now we need to update a record. So again, we've got to define the table and then the record ID. So the record ID will be the Airtable record ID. That's this one here. And then we need to choose the field, and the field we will be updating is Google Audio URL. And what we want is to, basically it is this whole URL that we want, but to have just the file ID is very helpful for any future endeavors. So we'll copy this first part and head back to our table, paste that there. Then we're going to add our Google MP3 ID, and then we will just copy this end part and paste that there. So now we've got the actual URL that we need in our table. We don't need to think about which actual URL we need to grab. So now we can test this automation, run as configured, run, test, and now you can see it's been updated. That's great. So if we head back to, I'm going to say do this later. So now you can see this has been filled in. Go back and turn our automation on, and there we go. So we've got the next one filled in as well. So what I typically do, if I find a music file that I like, so I've got these two actually that I've just inputted into this audio database, I'll name it. So call this one Demo Music 1 and this one is Demo Music 2. It's also good to say which platform I got it from. And then I can just drag each one into its equivalent MP3 attachment, and then I'll update the other one. All right, so the other thing that I like to do is add the length of the audio in case I want to create a longer video, which is something you can do. If I open this up, so this is 2 minutes 11 seconds to 11. This one is 1 minute and 7 seconds, and this 1 minute and 4 seconds. Great. Awesome. So that is how you create the audio database. If we go down here and add another row, we can see that these ones are here. Okay, so let's get on to the next trigger of our automation, which is ultimately posting to Instagram and in the process creating the actual video. So we've already demonstrated the trigger and how to make it go down this row here. So we've got our webhooks set up. Our next step is to get that record into our workflow. So select this and make sure you select your connection that you created earlier. And we need to select the base that relates to our particular build. And remember to select the video trigger that relates to our particular base, not the one that's in the template. So that will be the other video trigger. And this should automatically be filled in. So we are getting the ID from this module here, and you can see it's pulsing. Select OK. And that is that. Next, we've got our iterator. What we want to do here is to grab the URL for every 5-second video. So we should autofill, but I will run this once just to show you what's going on. So I'll unlink that, run it. So this is the one we created earlier, but it hasn't been posted yet. So we can select post to Instagram and it will go down this row here and stop where we have unlinked it. Now, if we open this up, so you can see we've got the 5-second video files, and here is the URL. So we want the URL for each of these. So because we've got 9 of them though, this module is essentially going to iterate through every Airtable URL that relates to that record. And then what we want is to grab that URL and put it into a data structure that makes sense to our JSON to video module. So you will not have this automatically filled out as I do. So I will show you how to create the data structure. Just add a new one. All right, demo or short vid, and we'll just add specifications. So the first one is URL, it's text, and we can select required. So that's going to be where we will insert the URL, but we also need 2 other things. We need to add the seek, and so little letters here, make sure it's little. And this is going to be a number. And what seek does is so you've got the 5-second video. If you say 0, then the video will start in that 5-second video from 0 seconds. If you put 1, it's going to start at 1 and so on. So if you put 4, then you'll just get the end part of that video in your final video. So we just select 0 as default and go on to select the next one. So the next one is going to be duration. And again, little letters here, duration. It is a number. Now here, if we put -1, then it will play the whole video. So if I was to put default, I'd say 2. Like I said earlier, you get a quicker tempo in the short video. And save that. That's it. And now it's automatically filled in. If you just go here, URL, that's what we want. And that's it. It actually took me a long time to work out how to structure this properly past JSON. So we just want to get the string from here. So here in array aggregating, I've selected the module 140. So it's going to aggregate within here. And the target structure type is custom because we custom created it. And we just want the URL, the seek, and the duration. And that's all. Then we just select OK. And let's just run from there. So I'm going to go run anyway. Wait for new data demo. We can select this one again and head back to our automation, and it's already run through. I actually added an extra video because you can do that. So that's why we've got 10 here. We have 10 videos in our array. So now we're up to the JSON to video module, and let's jump over to the actual website. So this is really helpful. The API key is really simple to use. You just select here, get your free API key, and then with that, you get 10 minutes worth of rendering, and each video can be up to 1 minute. So just note that you will get an error if you try to create a video that is more than 1 minute and you haven't purchased any credits from JSON to video. Follow the bouncing ball here. It's super simple. You'll get emailed your API key and then come back to your make scenario. So all you need to do to create the connection is put that API key in here, like simple as. But I've already got my connection. So the output video resolution will be custom size, and it will have to be the size of the Leonardo AI output for whatever aspect ratio you've selected. And so in our case, it's a real, so it's a vertical 576 by 1024. The video array is from this last module, and you're going to select the top part here, not the bottom, but the top. So you're going to select this. Then go down to background audio and make sure you're not looking for music file. We're looking for music URL, which is down here, and just select number 1, and that will import your music URL. Select the audio volume that you want. Now I'm going to put it on low for this particular video. You can experiment with the different volumes depending on what you want. If you want to end up like progressing and adding like a background narration, you could of course go to very low. It's up to you. And we can select the URL. Oh no, we will have to actually run the whole thing. Okay, cancel that. So we will run this once and wait for new data. Head back over here. I'm going to do this one. We haven't posted yet. or I haven't posted yet to my Instagram. The webhook has been accepted. We can see it's just shot through there and it's worked. So how we can check is we go back to JSON to video. I'll log into my account. So once you're in your account, go to render logs, and this might actually be complete by the time, yeah. Okay, so this is the one that's just been done. It worked. I can select play and actually have a look. Nice. Awesome. So that's our video. Now, it's a bit preemptive. We've got to look at it before we've finalized the automation. You can see how simple this JSON to video platform is. But basically, we can head back here. It took, 20 seconds to create? That's generally the rendering time. It's under a minute. So if you head back here, I just put it to sleep for 60 seconds. So this is checking the movie status is done. We need it to be done to continue our automation. So then the project ID needs to go in here. Run this one. So we can grab this project ID from here, copy and paste and select OK. I've got this get a file. You don't actually need this to post to Instagram for Business. All Instagram for Business is asking for is the URL, but I like to get the file as well and put it into Airtable. If you are using the free account, you'll likely have some limitations with this module, but just remember, you don't actually need this. It's just something I like to add to make my database complete. And it's so simple. All you need to do is grab the URL to the generated video and select OK. Once that's done, you'll have to create your Instagram connection. Now, I've set mine up in Make, so now every time I select Instagram or Facebook to post, it just does it automatically. But essentially, to connect Instagram to make.com, you need an Instagram business account that you have administration access to. So these are the steps you need to go through to create your connection between Meta AI and make.com, and I'll put that in the description for you. It's a really thorough, helpful instruction set straight from the horse's mouth as well. So look, I'll just create a new one. I've already got mine set up, and so now I've got another connection, and all you need to do is select the URL from this JSON to video module and put in a caption that you like. Now you can mix this up and make it varied, be as creative as you want. I am not being creative. I might just say this video is for my YouTube demo. Some fun emojis, celebrate, cool, and cover frame. Don't need that, select K, and I'm going to update my Airtable. So remember, we need to create this connection again and select the base that we are creating, and it's this one here. Select video trigger from our base, not the base from the template, and this is the record ID from this module here. As you can see, it's pulsing, and all we need to do is update Instagram post status, and that will be the exact phrasing from here. So to keep track of what we've done, what we've posted, and what we have not yet posted, we want to essentially have it in our table. Post completed is what we want. So we want to copy it from here, so it's the exact same wording and capital letters and the rest of it. So paste that there. And the other thing we want to update is final video. So we will select the URL from the JSON to video check a movie status, and then we will select the file name from the get a file module. And then we will just add final video URL in case you're not able to download the file, because these ones are bigger files than the 5-second videos. The free account should cater to downloading 5-second videos, but when we've concatenated all the videos, it will have limitations with the size. And that is it. Let's run the whole thing. So how exciting, now we're done. I wanted to show you that I've added a sleep module in here in between our two OpenAI assistants, 20 seconds. Basically, that just helps it to not error out because we've been asking too much of OpenAI. And what else? I think that's it. Let's run this. So wait for new data, head back to our Airtable. We're going to create a new video and select our music file and create. Head back over to our make scenario, and we can see it starting to iterate, and it's sleeping for 20 seconds. Let's get our Leonardo AI images up here so we can have a look at that. Our JSON to video platform here. So when it comes time, we can look at the render logs. And what else? That's about it. Let's head back over to make.com. So it's already started in Leonardo AI, and that's triggered 1, 2. So we should have a record already in our motion scenes file. So there it is. And if we head over to Leonardo AI and press enter, we will see that we've got the motion file generating. And here is our first image. So once this is generated, it will pop over into our video file here in motion scenes. And because remember over here, we've got the lookup field, 5-second videos, which is drawing from our motion scenes linked field, and there it goes. So it just popped into motion scenes, and so it also popped over into our lookup field. How awesome is that? And it's good to know and understand it as well. Okay, there we go. We've got the stars moving, water moving gently. Okay, we head back here, motion scenes. We've got our third row, and we're just waiting for our Leonardo AI motion videos to render. That's a nice image, and these are only going to get better. Okay, so we've got another motion image, so there's that, and back over here we can see we've got that again. So I'm going to go away and do a few things, and I'll come back when it's ready. Great, so I just got a notification in Slack saying that this is ready. I have to select run once, wait for new data, and post to Instagram. The webhook has been accepted again. Good news. And we can see it's just shot off through there. So let's go look at our JSON to video platform and just select enter there so that it refreshes, and you can see this is running. Okay, and so it's actually completed, but I'll head back over to our make scenario, and that's done too. So we can see now it's shot through, created the actual file, which again, you may or may not be using that module depending on the plan you have for make. And let me head over to Instagram, select Reels, and so you can see here we've got a successful run, and here we are in our Instagram Reels section. So guys, once you know that it's working, come down here and select on and then it's deployed. Now I've just created another video using some other prompts that I've created when I first developed this. So I just wanted to show you so you can get a bit of inspiration and understand how diverse and customizable this build is. And besides the prompts being diverse, it is also the number of videos. So what I did with this video trigger is I selected the 9 videos, and so I created 9 scenes. I had a look at them and I was like, okay, cool. I'd like another 9. So I selected another 9. And so here you can see I've got 18 of them here, all down the bottom. And here's the last video. It's beautiful. And so now I'm going to post it. If you made it this far, it shows a real commitment to adapting in this new wave of AI technology. You've not only developed cutting edge skills for AI automated video generation, but in the process, you've learnt general AI automation knowledge and techniques that are transferable to other niches. If you found value in this video, subscribe, as there will be more up-to-date cutting-edge tutorials to come, and you'll find more helpful productivity videos like these ones on your screen now.